Kendo. Well, I've been doing kendo for 30 years. I started when I was a high school student at a Japanese high school, and it's a traditional martial art. It's Japanese fencing. It's very competitive as a sport, but if you look at the word kendo, it means the way, which is do, of ken, which is sword. So because it is a way, it is not only a sport, it's a way of life. So it has a very important and profound philosophical aspect. So when you're training in kendo, you're not only training in techniques to beat your opponent, but you're also trying to fix your own weaknesses, make yourself stronger physically and mentally as a human being. So in that sense, even though you're engaged in a very hard, fast and furious fight with your opponent, there's a lot of respect there because you're helping each other not only improve your kendo, but also improve as people. So a very fundamental aspect of kendo is respect at all times. So we always start with a bow of respect, and we always finish with a bow of respect, and we continue training like that throughout our whole lives. So it's a little bit different to other sports. When you are too old to compete anymore, many people sort of stop practicing that sport. But kendo, there's no retirement. So there are people who are 3 years old, 4 years old, little kids, and people in their 90s who still practice together. So it can be practiced by anyone, regardless of your age or where you come from, throughout your entire life. So it's sort of like a lifelong journey. So it's more than just a competitive sport, and that's why we love going to the dojo and practicing with each other for as long as we can. Bushido literally means the way of the warrior. So bushi is another word for samurai, and do means way. So Bushido literally means the lifestyle of the samurai warriors. The samurai, depending on the period that we're talking about, but the samurai were privileged in society. They were the top echelon of society. Because they were privileged, they also had sort of obligation to look after the lower classes. And it was a responsibility that should not be reneged, it should not be taken advantage of. So the samurai, as part of their way of life, had an obligation to sort of be moral paragons. So to behave in a way which is kind and considerate to other people, respectful, and be people who are worthy of being respected. And part of the samurai way of life, of course, martial arts were very important because they were professional men-at-arms. As professional warriors, they still had to train in the martial arts, even in a time of peace. So part of their training involved often considering what their mortality meant. As a warrior, you could die at any time. Your lifestyle was very precarious, and because of that, that your life could be extinguished in a fleeting moment. An important part of the Bushido ethos was to really reflect on what it is to live, and in that sense, living each and every moment as if it was your last. And so by thinking about your mortality in such a way, I mean, death was always a central component in the warrior ethos. It meant that, it encouraged samurai to really embrace life, love life. And in some ways this is a paradox, I guess, when you think about warriors where their job is to kill, but ultimately through being exposed to killing and training in the martial arts, you learn to love life and to live life to its fullest. And in that respect, there are many things even today that we can learn from this old samurai wisdom, or Bushido. And this is something that we also think a lot about when we do martial arts, which is when they have a direct connection to samurai culture. So when I practice kendo, you never do anything half-hearted. You have to throw your body and your soul, you have to throw everything into your training. And when you're finished, you really come out with a profound respect for each and every moment that you are alive. So I can see that wisdom is still alive if you look for it, and I think it's very valuable, not only in Japan, but for people all around the world. My favourite Japanese phrase or word, there's so many, especially in the martial arts. There are lots of really useful terms, things that can help you in your life. But one that was taught to me by my kendo teacher many years ago, it's a little bit long. Wakai toki ni kakanai ase wa roji ni nareba namida ni naru, which in English is something like, what you don't sweat when you are young will turn into tears when you are old. So what it's saying is that when you're young, you must try your hardest at everything you do. You must always throw everything that you have into everything that you are doing and not take anything for granted. If you do not do this, if you do not try your hardest at all times, that's what I mean by you've got to sweat, right? If you're not working your hardest, then when you are old, then you will regret that you didn't try harder when you were young. And I was told this when I was 20, so I was still quite young. I'm 48 now, but it's still just as relevant now as it was when I was in my early 20s. So it's sort of like become a life motto for me. Bushido literally means the way of the warrior. So Bushi is another word for samurai, and Do means way. So Bushido literally means the lifestyle